Hello, dear friends. All cats are brown at night, so it's hard to distinguish truth from fantasy. Opinion piece. Conspiracy theorists. Impatience creates fear. Hardly anyone investigates the truth. There is only one way of thinking. Free debate is history. Bad days for independence. On the other side of fear is freedom. Rise of the spiritual, but not the religious. Freethinkers get a bad press. Freedom of thought is frowned upon. The meaning of life a fundamental question. Human beings have natural rights. Aldous Huxley spoke of a termite world. Everyone believes that his religion is the only true one. Karl Popper said that history is a conspiracy. Spirituality is based on a feeling of infinity. Eclecticism seeks to synthesize the best of each doctrine. Maitreya is prophesied to be a future Buddha of this world. Perennial Philosophy studies a truth common to all traditions. Let's start. Never in the history of mankind has there been so much controlled and uncontrolled dissent. Never had there been so many free thinkers, not so many conformists. Never has there been so much criticism of free thought. Never have there been so many fundamentalist religions and so many independent spiritual people. Each one believes that his religion is the only true one. Never has there been such a rigid official discourse, not such manifest rebellion. Never had the fundamental rights of citizens, such as freedom of thought and expression, been questioned so much. Plurality of information and free debate on television of people with opposing positions in the name of the official single thought seem to have become a thing of the past. Increasingly, the conspiracy theory label is used to discredit any idea that deviates from the dominant discourse of official single thought and connote ideas held by people who wish to disseminate their views, even though many conspiracy theories are becoming facts, but freedom of thought and expression is frowned upon. The target is citizens who dare to think for themselves, investigate, and actively engage in critical thinking. The endgame is approaching, the point at which all subtle coercion ends. The carrot and stick approach is over. They are shifting to a new narrative that will likely focus on warmongering and give them a new bogeyman to blame everything on and deflect the ire of citizens. It will also give them cover to go after their political enemies. Never have so many apprentice dictators appeared. It is intended to put more pressure on the scarce food supply by giving the option to hoard what is left of the food and distribute it to the obedient. In short, they would use the food to lure people into the system that people would otherwise reject. This means you would carry an app on your phone that would give them access to your every move and allow you to enter certain places after showing your digital documents. Definition. A conspiracy theory is an explanation of an event or situation that invokes a plot by sinister and powerful groups, often with political or economic motivations, following the money trail that never fails. The expression is used to refer to certain alternative theories to the official ones that explain an event or a chain of events, commonly of political, social, economic, religious, or historical importance, by means of the secret action of powerful, extensive, and long-lasting groups, and also in a pejorative tone to disqualify those theories. The general hypothesis is that certain important events in history have been caused by hidden and mysterious plots. The philosophy of conspiracy theories is the academic study by philosophers of the phenomenon and of history. It is defined as an explanation of an event or situation that evokes plot by sinister and powerful groups, often with political motivations. Authors: Aldous Huxley described the situation as a fanciful and somewhat obscene picture of a society in which the attempt to recreate human beings in the likeness of termites has been pushed almost to the limit of possibility. Close quotes. We are being propelled in the direction of the novel, brave new world, but no less obvious is the fact that we can, if we wish, refuse to cooperate with the blind forces driving us. Karl Popper, an influential philosopher of science, described what he called the conspiracy theory of society, according to which history would be the product of conspiracy intended by some individuals or groups. The term generally implies an oppressive or sinister intent. Susan Feldman has pointed out that they can explain hidden facts. Natural law. Natural law is a system of law based on careful observation of human nature and values intrinsic to human beings that could be deduced and applied independently of the enacted laws of a state. According to natural law theory, all persons have inherent rights conferred not by a legislative act but by God, nature, or reason. In the Western tradition, it was anticipated by the pre-Socratics, for example, in their search for principles governing the cosmos and human beings. The concept of natural law was documented in ancient Greek philosophy, including Aristotle and Cicero referred to it in ancient Roman philosophy. References to it are also found in the Old and New Testaments of the Bible, and it was later expounded in the Middle Ages by Christian philosophers such as Albertus Magnus and Thomas Aquinas. The school of Salamanca, Spain, made contributions during the Renaissance. Because of the intersection between natural law and natural rights, natural law has been claimed or attributed as a key component in the Declaration of Independence of the U.S., the Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizen of France, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of the United Nations, as well as the European Convention on Human Rights of the Council of Europe. Free thought. Free thought is a viewpoint that holds that beliefs should not be formed on the basis of authority, tradition, relation, or dogma, but should be reached by other methods such as logic, reason, and empirical observation. Modern freethinkers consider free thought to be a natural liberation from all negative and illusory thoughts acquired from society. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, a freethinker is a person who forms his or her own ideas and opinions rather than accepting those of other people, especially in religious teaching. In some contemporary thinking, in particular free thought, is strongly linked to the rejection of traditional social or religious belief systems. The Oxford English Dictionary defines free thought as the free exercise of reason in matters of belief unfettered by the deference to authority. The adoption of a freethinkers' principles. Freethinkers hold that knowledge should be based on facts, scientific inquiry, and logic. Free thought was a movement whose purpose was to make the individual politically and spiritually free to decide for himself on religious matters. In Europe, a similar development occurred in French and Spanish individualistic libertarian circles. There was an attack on institutionalized religion because of its past responsibility for negative developments such as the Inquisition. The meaning of life. The meaning of life, or the answer to the question, what is the meaning of life, refers to the importance of life or existence in general. Many other related questions include why are we here, what is life about, or what is the purpose of existence. Many answers to these questions have been proposed from different cultural and ideological contexts. The search for the meaning of life has produced much philosophical, scientific, theological, and metaphysical reflection and speculation throughout history. Different people and cultures believe different things for the answer to this question. The mystery of life and its true meaning is a recurring theme in popular culture, appearing in the entertainment media and in various forms of art. Monty Python's meaning of life includes a character played by Michael Palin, who is given an envelope containing the meaning of life, which he opens and reads to the audience. In quotes, well, it's nothing very special. Try to be nice to people. Avoid eating fatty foods. Read a good book once in a while. Take a little walk and try to live together in peace and harmony with people of all faiths and nations. Spiritual but not religious, also known as spiritual but not affiliated, is a popular phrase used to self-identify a spiritual stance of life that doesn't consider organized, institutionalized religion as the only or the most important, as they are a valuable means to foster spiritual growth. Spirituality is associated with the inner life of the individual, emphasizing the well-being of the mind, body, spirit, while religion refers to human-created institutions. Perennial Philosophy. Perennial philosophy, also known as perennialism and the perennial wisdom, is a view of philosophy and the spirituality that considers that all the world's religious traditions share a single truth of metaphysical origin from which all have grown esoteric and exoteric knowledge and doctrine. A more popular interpretation advocates universalism, the idea that all religions, beneath the apparent differences, point to the same truth. In the early 19th century, the transcendentalists propagated the idea of a metaphysical truth and universalism, which inspired the Unitarians. In the 20th century, universalism was further popularized by the traditionalist school inspired by the monistic philosophical school of Advaita Vedanta, which advocated a single metaphysical origin of orthodox religions, and by Aldous Huxley and his book The Perennial Philosophy, which was inspired by the Neo-Vedanta and the traditionalist school. Perennialism has its roots in the Renaissance interest in the Neoplatonism of Plotinus and his idea of the one, from which all existence emanates. Mystical experience. William James popularized the use of the term religious experience in his work The Varieties of Religious Experience. It has also influenced the understanding of mysticism as a distinctive experience that provides knowledge. Wayne Proudfoot traces the roots of the notion of religious experience to the German theologian Friedrich Schleiermacher, who argued that spirituality is based on a sense of infinity. He used the notion of religious experience to defend spirituality against growing materialist criticism. Cognitive archaeology, such as the analysis of cave paintings and other prehistoric arts and customs, suggests that a form of perennial philosophy or shamanic metaphysics can be traced back to the birth of modernity. Similar beliefs are found in present-day Stone Age cultures such as the Australian Aborigines. Perennial philosophy. Perennial philosophy posits the existence of a spiritual or conceptual world alongside the everyday world, and interactions between these worlds during dreams and rituals, or on special days or in special places. It has been argued that the perennial philosophy formed the basis of Platonism, with Plato articulating, rather than creating, much older generalized beliefs. Religious pluralism holds that the world's diverse religions are limited by their distinctive historical and cultural contexts, and therefore there is no single true religion. There are only many equally valid or invalid religions, depending on how you look at it, where great truths are mixed with great lies. The perennial philosophy affirms that the divine reality can be understood and that its existence is what makes it possible to understand the universal truth. Each religion provides its own interpretation of the universal truth, based on its historical and cultural context, potentially providing all that is necessary to observe the divine reality and reach a state where one will be able to confirm the universal truth and reach salvation or spiritual enlightenment. Eclecticism. Eclecticism is a philosophical school that seeks to reconcile doctrines that seem better or more plausible, even though they come from different systems. It is a conceptual approach that doesn't hold rigidly to a single paradigm or set of assumptions, but relies on multiple theories, styles, or ideas to gain complementary insights on a subject, or applies different theories to particular cases. Spiritual syncretism is the combination of two or more spiritual belief systems into a new system, or the incorporation into a religious tradition of beliefs from unrelated traditions. This can occur when a culture is conquered and the conquerors bring their religious beliefs with them, but fail to completely eradicate the old beliefs. Maitreya is prophesied as a future Buddha of this world in Buddhist eschatology, although there are many who have claimed to be one. In some Buddhist literature, such as the Amitabha Sutra and the Lotus Sutra, the being is referred to as Ajita. According to Buddhist tradition, Maitreya is a bodhisattva who is prophesied to appear on earth, achieve full enlightenment, and teach the pure Dhamma. According to the scriptures, Maitreya will be the successor of the present Buddha, Gautama Buddha, or Sakyamuni. It is prophesied that Maitreya's arrival will occur during an era when the Dharma has been forgotten by most in the earthly world. Reflections. The coalition operation to stop the mischief makers means a simulated world war scenario to justify the deployment of troops in key areas of the world. There will not be a war. The war is against the dark side. The bad guys become good guys, so can be bad guys. You are living in the greatest period ever to occur in human civilization. Apocalypse means revelation, unveiling, taking the lid off, revelation of a great knowledge. An apocalypse is a vision of heavenly secrets that can make sense of earthly realities. In quotes, for there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing concealed that will not be brought to light. Mark 4:22. It's not a flash in the sky or an emergency broadcast system playing hours of truth. It is the common people standing up, coming together and saying enough is enough. It is the people calling for the curtain to be pulled back. And you see the large-scale demonstrations that are happening now to demand group and individual freedom, as well as consent for the welfare of the young and the welfare of those who have fought in the wars and those who are still fighting, as well as consent for the elderly, for those with special needs, those who have been discriminated against for a long time. Be patient, a little more time yet, but continue to notice how this transformation is occurring and will continue to occur, bringing about this great transition that now precedes the Great Ascension. Weekly balance. Puffiness said, "The problems are no different than last week. Everyone is waiting for everyone else. Goods movement has slowed and fund movement has become nil for now. There are issues being addressed that may generate a breakthrough, but don't count on that just yet. The bankers are holding firm and do not want to give up any of the funds they have been holding back for some time. Speak softly, and do what you must. Little more can be done at this point. It won't be long, but it will be a while before this becomes clear enough to move forward. For those caught up in the currency reserve mania, the word patience has moved to a new level. Patience is not the ability to wait. Patience is being calm no matter what happens, constantly acting to turn it into positive opportunities for growth, and having faith that everything will work out in the end while you wait. The most important question is, will you be able to change when things finally do happen? Change can be uncomfortable and usually is, but only after you have stepped out of your comfort zone do you begin to change, grow, and transform. Change doesn't always bring growth, but there is no growth without change. Everyone wants to live at the top of the mountain, but all happiness and growth happens as you climb, and we are all at the base of the mountain. Be prepared to climb. The constant bombardment and speculation about the timing of the reset, or even whether or not it will happen, shouldn't be an impediment to being mentally prepared for what will ultimately be a massive transformation on many levels. The way we currently behave will have to be modified to be effective in facilitating the responsibilities that will come from being a good contributor to this blessing. Impatience creates fear, and fear can rob us of our freedom and make the right choices in life that can close the gap between where we are and where we want to be. On the other side of fear is freedom. We have to remember that the best things in the world are not so much where you are, but in what direction you are moving. We are in the beginning stages of a new mindset. If you judge the strength of a tree while it is a seed, you mistake it for weak. Find comfort among those who agree with you. Grow among those who don't. Stay at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let each new year find you a better person. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.